Hi guys, welcome back to another children's book vlog video. But tonight, and obviously I'm doing things last minute. I'm gonna have other stuff to get done, like other schoolwork, so it just happens to be this way. But tonight I have to do and submit 30 to 32 pages of thumbnails for my book. And surprise, surprise, I haven't even written anything yet. So how can I do thumbnails for that? So yeah, we're gonna spend the hopefully next hour, because it's a children's book. The writing should be quite short, but hopefully we can spend the next hour to write everything, and then I can spend maybe the 3-ish hours I would have before my afternoon class start to actually draw the thumbnails, which honestly should like take 30 minutes, but yeah, whatever the case is. It is currently 11:34, October 5th, and I'm doing this on Pages. I've been trying to transition out of using docs to write all my stories and using Pages. I used to use Pages like in middle school, and I used to use doc for like schoolwork, for like essays, research papers, science reports, things like that. And then I transition from writing stories on Pages to doing them on Google Docs, and now I'm trying to go back to doing them on Pages. So yeah, but here's what we have for the current layout. I'm just gonna go to layout here, and I'm going to go to columns, and I'm gonna make it 2 columns, just so when I'm writing, and I used to do this a lot in middle school, and since I'm writing revamping an old story with my sister, we do this a lot in our own document currently. But let's say I have this, and then I'm just gonna press enter as if I'm writing a bunch, and then yeah, you have it. On the same page, you have 2 columns, so like the words will go here and then the words will go here. I don't know, I think it's just easier for me to do it that way, and I've been doing it for years, so I'm gonna kind of stick to that format. But yeah, we're gonna play some music, we're gonna have a really good time, and I will see you guys when my story is completed. Okay. So it has been 2 hours since I last said anything to you guys, and I'm just kind of refixing the pages. I haven't done like this for all of the pages yet, but originally like this was page 1, this was page 2, yada yada yada, but then I realized like page 1 and page 2 or page 3 would be title page and then like credit page. So then I had to like change it up to page 4, 5, or like, yeah, 4, 5, 6, and then I also then messed up again, and so I put, because like certain pages that I said were going to be double spreads no longer make sense to be double spreads because they're not actually like side by side. So to keep myself on track, I have this like thumbnail draft template thing that my teacher gave us, and I'm just gonna have that side by side. So the story will start on page 4, and so then I now made page 4 and 5 a double spread, which originally wasn't. Like when this was originally page 1, it was just like a single spread, but I rather it be a double spread since it's the start of the story. And then I have to fix for page 7 and 8 in my new version, can't be a double spread because that is just not possible. So then I'm just going to go in to just kind of rework some of these, and then I'll just keep that next to me so I know that if I'm trying to make a double spread, it actually makes sense to be a double spread. Didn't really think the writing would take more than an hour, but I know the summary of it, but I haven't actually broken down what's going to happen, so that's what I'm doing now. So then I can quickly do the thumbnails, which I don't think will take more than like 30 minutes because I'll just probably do stick figures stick figures. I'll probably do stick figures for the time being, just, you know, to be able to submit it in. It doesn't have to actually be any detailed. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. It's going well so far. I'm listening to some music, but it's really hot, so the process is going very, 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 very slow. But it's going. So yeah. So before I continue, I want to show you guys my children book collection, or at least some of the stuff that I've had that are new, like this one, or stuff that I had from when I was a kid, from when my little sister was a kid, from just whatever we have in the house that I'm going to use to hopefully get some inspiration to create my own children book. So yeah, let me go and talk about that real quick. For one of our field study like things that we had to do, activities that we had to do earlier into the semester, our teacher made us for our lab hours go out to some sort of children's store, like a store that sells children books. It doesn't have to be an actual bookstore. And you know, around the school or in your own neighborhood, get inspiration from. So then we can also we had to also answer some questions in regard to that field activity. My sister and I, we went to a thrift store because we thought about affordability, and most books that are that usually retail for like $26 you could buy for $3. So that's what I did. I bought this really great, I'm talking about pristine condition book of The Other Side. I used to read this as a child. I absolutely loved this book as a child, by Jacqueline Woodson. And I bought it because, one, of nostalgia, and two, I thought this was a really good reference. This is a children's book, but it talks about a heavy topic of like segregation, or like if it hints at it a lot, but I'm using this as a reference point, not for like the book layout, but just to kind of like see, just to see for like art inspirations, maybe text layout, you know. I don't know, I think there's some good inspiration here, and the watercolor details are really, really cool, and I absolutely love it. So this is my book that I'm using for reference in terms of like how to tell a children's story that is a little bit more heavier in topic, and then also just what artistic approach can I take when, you know, creating this book. So this is one of many inspirations that I have. So some of these books have seen better days, but a lot of books were kept because my twin sister and I used them when we were kids, and then we have a younger sister, so then she used these same books, and also the collection grew because more books were bought when she was a little kid. And yeah, now they can be gifted away, donated, given to other family members who have little kids. And yeah, you know, but I want to show you what my collection looks like real quick here. It's not just mine, it's a collection of my three sisters and I have this one. I used to love this book as a kid, read it all the time, and I forced my little sister to read it. I used to give her tests on this book as well. This one was my favorite book. I had 2 copies of this book. I don't know where my better copy is, but this one, like I said, has seen better days. We have this book as well, which used to scare me when I was younger. But I'm getting really good layout information of maybe like, you know, what can I do in terms of conveying the illustration to the words without having to draw like full-on backgrounds and things like that. We have this one as well. I think this one's also supposed to double as a coloring book, or at least it feels like that, but the layout or like the design of it is quite different. We have this one next. Maybe I want my book to be a lot more vertical than horizontal. I don't know, we'll see. Anansi used to be my favorite book as a kid. I really, really liked the Anansi story. But this is even an idea of how I want to do, you know, the layout. Picture, words, or words, picture, maybe nothing that overlaps. You know, simplicity in terms of art style is also an inspiration that I can gather from a lot of these books. Some of the books I'm really looking into because some of these books are children books, but they're also like heavier topics, like this one, How Many Days to America. Flipping through this book, it looks like almost all the pages, not almost, I think literally all the pages are double spread pages. So that's a thought. I'll see how it works out with me planning. Also, I noticed a lot of these children's books, some of them like do full-on illustrations where it goes like up to the edge, some do borders, so maybe that's a look that I might go for, to try to keep things a little bit more simple, not simple, but a little bit more clean, if everything is bordered off. Also, since in my graphic design classes we've been doing a lot with typefaces and like fonts and things like that, I'm looking at a lot of these fonts to try to figure out what type of font there are, because you know, in certain type of sizes, certain fonts could look really small in that size and other fonts could look bigger. So you know, I'm playing around with that to see like how I would want to write the text for my book. Moving on, The Leaving Morning. This was another one that I really loved to read all the time. A lot of these children books have some sort of watercolor feel to the illustrations here. And so, yeah, I don't know. This one, the illustrations go to the end, so there aren't really like borders. So that's just another look that I'm like figuring out for the drawing aspect. But yeah, I really loved this book as a kid. We have City Kids, which I'm pretty sure is my younger sister's book. But yeah, this is another type of style that I'm getting inspired by. So yeah, I don't know, we'll see. Let's go real quick. I've been doing it for too long. Me, Donica Brown, which I actually don't know whose book this is. I feel like it could be mine, but it could also be my younger sister's. I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, this one's a little bit more heavier with text because they're kind of like, if I remember, poems. But yeah. Moving on, this was also my favorite book when I was a kid. I have a sister. My sister is deaf. A little bit more simple. Maybe I'll go colorless. Maybe due to time, since I would have about a month to draw everything, maybe I'll do more of a sketchy sketchbook feel, no color. That's something to think about. This one is definitely my younger sister's from memory. Okay, the text is different. Like how they display the text on the pages is different than how I've seen in other books. This one has definitely seen better days. But this is like, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. And it's just kind of like that song, but in storybook format. My mother used to love reading this to us when we were all younger. And then lastly, we have Fables, which is more like a folktale storytelling type book. I don't know if it's necessarily a children's book, especially with the long amount of text here. But that's something else to look at. Maybe I'll do a border, and then past that border, there's another like outline design that would kind of connect the two pages together, especially if a page doesn't have any drawings on it. Anyways, there you have it. This is the collection of children's books. Actually, some of the collection. There's a lot of books that are still in like boxes or stored away somewhere else. But these are the ones that I'm able to like quickly grab by hand. And this is everything that I have that I'm going to look at while I continue finishing the outline of my children's book. Okay, so yeah, let's get back to writing. Hi guys, so I have about 40 minutes into my next class starts. Actually, I think it's 15 minutes into my next class starts, but I'm finally done. So you guys can kind of see this overview here. I just added in like the pages for like the pages that aren't actually the story, so I can just have everything written out here. And yeah, I went up to right exactly at 32 pages. And there we go. I think that the story is really good. I don't know. I'm gonna have my sister read it since she's in the same class as me. We're both doing this project for our class. I'm gonna have my sister read it sometime later. But I think I'm actually going to rest before my next class, and then maybe after that class ends, I'll actually get to doing the actual thumbnails because they shouldn't take too long. Yeah, my back is hurting me, so I'm not going to do thumbnails now. But we have our story. The only thing I have to come up with is a title for the story. I have to come up with a school name for the school that the main character attends. And I think for the most part, I'm going to keep the main character, like, she's not going to have a last name. I think I'm just going to keep it Laina and just keep it her first name. But that's another possibility. I could potentially do a last name. But yeah, this is everything. I'm going to go rest, and then I'll start the thumbnails a little bit later. Okay, so I got my sketchbook here. I got my markers here that I'll just be using the fine tip, well, the fine tip point end side of it as like microns and stuff. I'm going to create 32 panels down this page. I decided to do it in my sketchbook instead of doing it digitally, just because I really wanted to draw something and I just wanted to draw it traditionally instead. So we're gonna do that. I'm gonna get rid of my little like traditional itch by doing it this way. I have some YouTube videos that I'm gonna pop on. I might switch over to watching the newest episode of Gen V over on Amazon Prime. Yeah, while I have some little bit of daylight before 10 p.m. hits, this is what I'm gonna be doing with the rest of my time, but it should only take like 30 minutes. And I'll show you guys the final piece.
Hi guys, I never did an outro for this video, so I'm doing this now. It's about almost 2 months later since I filmed this originally. It's been 2 months. Today is December 7th. We actually had our presentation of our children book today. My sister and I got back from that, and then we had an online class, and now I'm just kind of laying in bed ready to just relax because school's almost over. I'm in like 2 more days, so that's great. Or at least we have like 2 more classes left, or two more days of classes left, and then school's over, but that's besides the point. Yeah, while looking back at all of this, I would just say that I rushed at the end despite pre-planning so like many weeks prior. I actually ended up drawing the children's book like a week to a week and a half before it was due. So I didn't really get to gauge or engage with the influence of these children's books that you see in this vlog, which is unfortunate. But I do want to end up revising the children's book and redoing it. So I'm going to end up doing that in the future. But thank you guys so much for watching. It definitely means a lot. Jen and I will see you in another video. Have an amazing day. Stay safe. Stay warm. Peace. Bye, guys.